What is good, everybody, man? This is your guy, Manny, and this is the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. Welcome to another episode of the Back Row Commanders Show. This is a 20-minute rant. So for 20 minutes, I'm just going to rant about this game. This is a therapy session. Feel free to join me for those who are going to be coming in on this live streams. Like I said, it's going to be real quick, 20 minutes. At the 20-minute mark, I'm cutting it off. So the Commanders faced the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. And a lot of you guys know I live in Nashville, Tennessee. And usually I'll go out to a sports bar, with fans and, have a good time, have a good experience. My best friend is a Titans fan. I could have went to his crib. We could have ordered some pizza, some wings, and had a good time. But I just wanted to watch this game by myself. And I really didn't even know if I was going to finish the entire game. So for what the game was, it was an exciting game. It was fun to watch. So I was glued to the TV from the beginning to the end. Now, on the flip side, I did have the red zone going because, NFL red zone is where it's at. And typically I watch the red zone and then I kind of fall back on the real game. So, but this time I was on a real game, then I was going back and forth. One thing I can say was that, how can I put this? For the most part, the game gave me hopes that the Commanders might pull this thing off, So let's look at the goods, then we look at the bad. The good is Dyami Brown came out and had a long 75-yard touchdown, reminiscent of Terry catching that 75-yard touchdown versus the Eagles, Terry's rookie year. You have a quarterback like Wentz who can get the ball to him, right? He's been playing with Heineke. Heineke doesn't have that arm talent to get the ball to a guy like Dyami Brown. Now, I did say that the Titans secondary was terrible and that the Commanders could exploit that. They can exploit the Titans secondary and get a few big plays. And that's exactly what happened. The Commanders were able to get a few big plays, right? The 75-yard touchdown, it was unbelievable. He caught it. I was thinking, because, in training camp and preseason, Dyami Brown didn't have good hands. But because Jahan Dotson not being here, we're going to talk about Jahan Dotson later on in the show. Now it was Dyami Brown caught the 75-yard touchdown, and then he caught a second touchdown that he caught one-handed. It was a thing of beauty, caught the one-handed touchdown to make it 2 touchdowns for this guy. So pretty much somebody in the fantasy community said Dyami Brown pretty much did what Gabriel Davis did yesterday, but the difference is that a lot of us didn't draft Dyami Brown. We got him for free from the waiver wire. So yeah, that was kind of funny for those who do watch or those that do follow fantasy football. But yeah, Dyami Brown had an awesome game. Montez Sweat, he's another guy that I've been like, look, what is he doing? Is he had 2 sacks. He really should have had a 3rd sack, but he was just there hugging Tannehill, and then Tannehill was able to make a big play that resulted in the team losing. Now, I'm not pointing fingers and saying we lost because of this guy, we lost because of that guy. I will do that later on in the show. I am going to point fingers at the people that I feel were the reason why we lost this game. So we talked about Dyami Brown. He was a plus. We talked about Montez Sweat. After talking to my friend who's a Titans fan, he told me the guy that was going against Montez Sweat was a guy they just picked up. And now this guy is now playing left tackle. So we know for a fact that Montez Sweat was not playing against a top-tier left tackle. We know they lost Taylor Lewan. So my guy, matter of fact, he's in the chat right now, Anonymous Taylor. What's good, brother? He said that the reason that the Commanders lost was because of Carson Wentz. We're gonna dig more into that. He says for the win. Yeah. So Montez Sweat going against a left tackle. I don't even know his name. Anonymous Taylor. Who's the name of the left tackle that was going against Montez Sweat? Because he was outmatched, and he made Montez Sweat look better than what he actually was. But you guys know I don't discriminate against playing lesser talent. I always say, if you're going to match up against a lesser talent, make sure that you dominate. And that's what Montez Sweat was able to do. He came in, he dominated, and that's pretty much all I can ask for. That's all I can ask for. So with him dominating, he had 2 sacks, should have had 3. Payne and Allen were still solid like they've always been. Both guys having 2.5 sacks each for the season. One of the foreign guys, is it Obata or I can't even think of which one it was. So overall, the defensive line was solid. James Smith-Williams, the whole defensive line was solid for the most part. The secondary was trash. Just like the Titans secondary being trash, the Commanders secondary are the Twins. Have y'all seen that meme where you see Spider-Man going like this? That's the Commanders defense and the Titans defense pointing at each other. Who's worse? Who's better? They are literally twins. They give up big plays. Commanders defense, Titans defense. So when you look at the secondary, the Commanders benched William Jackson III. And then he's talking about, it was because of injury and I got this disc in my back and the coach said, I should not go back. William Jackson III, you got benched because you're trash. You're trash. Second highest paid player on the team. And this is how you come out there and you perform? Something ain't adding up. Benjamin St-Juste was out there playing corner and he was solid. Benjamin St-Juste has been solid over and over and over again. What's good? He says, hey, bro, come on my show tonight, talk Commanders football. It depends on the time. So hit me up on Twitter. It depends on the time. Let me see. Viscount says, what secondary? Absolutely. What secondary? Literally. The aftermath. Hey, if I'm going to be out tonight watching the Kansas City Chiefs game. If it's after that, I'm all in. But yeah, man, the secondary, even Bobby McCain. Bobby McCain is ultra trash. That's another guy. We can go down the line and point out trash. Bobby McCain, he continues to get dealt with like he's supposed to be the free safety. Derek Forrest is still learning. He did a little bit, but Bobby McCain, Fuller, William Jackson III. This secondary is trash. And then my friend, as a Titans fan, tells me that Holcomb was big and Holcomb did this and that. I'm like, look, Holcomb, he's solid. He's more of a Sam linebacker. He's not a middle linebacker. He made plays because we're playing a running team. Derrick Henry's running the ball. Somebody got to tackle him. Holcomb is probably the biggest guy that could tackle him. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he did have a good game tackling-wise, but he's a liability on coverage. And then Anonymous Taylor was telling me, he was like, Commanders had nobody to cover. Absolutely. When I looked at the Titans matchup and I'm looking at Westbrook, Akina, whatever his name is, Nick Westbrook Akina, and I'm like, I'm not worried about him. I'm looking at Robert Woods. I'm like, he's more of like a short, intermediate guy. I'm not worried about him. Austin Hooper, I'm not worried about him. Tannehill and his play action, I'm not worried about him. But guess what? They give up the big play to Westbrook. That was like a 63-yard pass and catch. Ridiculous, right? It seemed like every single time that the Commanders did something good, they did something bad. So with all the pressures, the Commanders are tops in pressure. Who cares? Secondary is trash, so it doesn't even matter about the pressures, right? Jonathan Allen and Payne are playing at a Pro Bowl level. Doesn't matter. It's just like saying that the Titans' interior defensive line is playing at a Pro Bowl level. It doesn't matter because their entire defense as a whole is trash. So we saw Matt Rule get fired today, right? Ron Rivera should be next. Ron Rivera's days in D.C. are numbered. I'm sick and tired of people sugarcoating things. The scandal and the name change and this happened to the organization. And now, what are you doing on the field? What are you doing to produce wins? After 4 seasons, past 2 years, 1-3, 1-3, 1-4 this year after 5 games. If we end up winning Thursday versus the Bears, that'll be 2-5. That'll be 3 straight seasons that Ron Rivera has started 2-5. It's unacceptable. Ron Rivera as a person, I love him. Ron Rivera as a coach, I'm done with him. I'm done. I have no words I can't defend Ron Rivera anymore. It's hard to defend him. We can go back and look at the free agent acquisitions that he's brought in, right? William Jackson III, second highest player, trash. Getting burnt left and right, right? You let go of Brandon Sheriff, which I was in support of. That's fine. Brandon Sheriff is gone. He didn't want to be here in the first place. So I'm okay with Brandon Sheriff being gone. But on the flip side, who did you bring in? Not only did you let Brandon Sheriff go, which is fine, you could have at least kept Eric Flowers. Now you cut Eric Flowers. You take the Eric Flowers money, you split it in half, and you bring in Noel and you bring in Trey Turner, and we're jumping for joy. We're like, woo! 2 All-Pro, former All-Pro, 2 former Pro Bowlers. Ah, man. Woo, Ron Rivera, you're a genius, man. You're shopping at the bargain mart, and you're out here snagging players. So we out here, we thinking that these guys that Ron Rivera is bringing in is gonna work. It has not worked. It has not worked. Also, coupled with injuries, right? You lose your starting center, Chase Roulier, and you lose your best interior guard in Wes Schweitzer. It was a debate between Wes Schweitzer and Trey Turner. And I kept fighting for Trey Turner, saying, well, former Pro Bowler, he's been hurt in camp and this and that. Now Trey Turner is turning into what Curtis Samuel was last year. I'm not saying that these guys can't play. I'm saying that these guys are trash right now. Anybody with a regular pass rush is getting by these guys. Then it was Samuel Cosmi, right? With all he was doing, dealing with growing pains. Sometimes he plays well, sometimes he plays bad. He's gone, and you bring in Cornelius Lucas, and then we always praise John Matsko. John Matsko is a great offensive offensive line coordinator, and he can take anything and turn it into gold. It's starting to okay, you bring in Sadiq Charles, right? He plays better, right? But then guess what? Once a few guys come back from injury, Tyler Larson, maybe he comes in and takes over for that because that center is trash. That center had 2 low snaps that could have literally cost us the game. So it doesn't really matter who you put on the line. They're bad. These are not just backups. These are the backups that back up the backups. And it just is what it is at this point. I don't think there's anything you can literally do to that line that can make it any better. Then you talk about Carson Wentz. Let's go ahead and get into the Carson Wentz talk right now. Everybody's blaming Carson Wentz for what happened on Sunday. I think that Carson Wentz was okay. I don't think he was bad. He was decent. He wasn't the reason why they lost the game. The guy literally has 2 seconds to get rid of the ball, right? It was a miracle that he was able to find Dyami Brown for 75 yards. I'm like, where did the time come from? Now, there are times when Carson Wentz is in the pocket and actually has time. But he's been hit so many times that his mind is messing with him. He's like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Then he just starts moving around. Happy feet, happy feet, happy feet. He can't settle in the pocket because he's been hit so many times. It's messing with his head. So even when he does have time, he's moving around. Then when it's time there are times that you want Carson Wentz to tuck the ball and run. He doesn't run. So Carson Wentz does have some blame for why the team is where they are right now. But at the same time, we blamed Taylor Heinicke for not having the arm talent, right? Taylor Heinicke made good plays, made bad plays, right? But Carson is scrutinized more than Taylor Heinicke. I guess because Taylor Heinicke was more exciting, running the ball, and he had heart, and he saved us in that playoff game where he comes in and does this, and he just has the flair. He's a gamer. But Carson in the fourth quarter has been decent this season. This was a game where the defense actually played well enough to give the Commanders a chance. And then the offense played well enough in spurts, but just couldn't get the job done. And it's like the real blame is Ron Rivera and Scott Turner. We want to go ahead and blame Wentz. First of all, the general manager is Ron Rivera. The head coach is Ron Rivera. We should have saw the red flags when they said Ron Rivera is going to handpick his GM. What kind of nonsense is that? The GM handpicks the coach. So the organization have given Ron Rivera too much power. They let him do whatever he wants. And now that we are where we are, when are we going to start to hold Ron Rivera accountable? It's time for Ron to go. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm tired of defending him. I'm tired of defending Wentz. There needs to be changes. But the thing is, you can't go from Carson Wentz to Taylor Heinicke and say, yeah, we made a change. Nah, if you're going to make that change, you wait till week 8. No matter what happens after week 8, you make sure that you watch that snap count. Carson Wentz cannot play 70% of the snaps. So that way, that 3rd-round pick don't turn into a 2nd-round pick. So in order to retain your 2nd-round pick next year, you got to make sure that Carson Wentz does not play the amount of games. But guess what? Ron Rivera doesn't care. He knows his job is on the line. He's saying they were asking Ron Rivera, why is it that, the Giants are doing well and the Dallas and the Eagles? And he said quarterback. But what he meant was that Carson Wentz has not been around as long as the other quarterbacks that have been in their system. So you look at Cooper Rush. They asked Ronald Rivera, how about Cooper Rush? He said the system. He's a system fit. Well, you guys handpicked Carson Wentz. You guys made it seem like he was part of the plan. So you should be able to make him fit into your system. And if he's not fitting into your system, Scott Turner, you got to call plays or you got to do things that make people's skill set fit into the system. Because forever, William Jackson III was playing out of what he does best, right? But now William Jackson III, he's just trash all around. So you cannot defend William Jackson III anymore. So I'm going all over the place, but this is what I just got to get this out of my system because it's hard to record these pods as a Washington Commanders content creator. Those who do this, I applaud y'all. That's why I stick more to my fantasy football because it brings me joy. There's nothing that brings me joy about this team. For the fact that I'm in Nashville, I could have went somewhere nice, watched the game, interacted with fans, and talk my talk. I couldn't do that because the product has been so bad. Why would I get out of the bed, get out the house, dress, drive somewhere, waste my gas, buy some food, be somewhere, lose, come back? No. Ever since 1999, since I became a fan, it's like I ask people, like, why are you a fan of the Commanders? Like sometimes I have to ask myself, why am I a fan? Well, I grew up in D.C., Maryland area. My dad was a fan. He put me on the team. I became a fan. But I stayed a fan because I'm loyal. But that does not mean I have to support every decision that's being made with the team. I'm not going to, jump to this team or jump to that squad. So y'all might not see me doing podcasts. Y'all might not see me talking Commanders, okay? Y'all might not see me. Even till date, I don't own any Washington football apparel. I don't own any Washington Commanders apparel. And it could be for different reasons. Number one, I haven't had time. I haven't gotten time to buy something or order something. Number two, why should I support this franchise? Why should I spend my money, my hard-earned money, on this franchise when the product is trash? So I'm here. Here I am walking around Nashville with a Commanders hat on. Oh, you a Commanders fan? Yeah, I've been a Commanders fan since '99. Oh man, poor you. And then I see people who are tweeting saying, well, there's other franchises like the Bills and this team and that team. What have they won? Then my rebuttal to those fans are, were you a fan when the Commanders were winning championships? And if you're not a fan, you're in the same boat as the Bills fans and all these other fans that haven't won nothing. I'd rather be one of these fans like one of these up-and-coming teams that have a franchise quarterback at least. For example, when Russell Wilson was good in Seattle wasn't really doing much. Russell Wilson turned that franchise around, and they became a respectable franchise over the course of, 10 plus years. And as a fan, that's beautiful. Being a Washington fan, what can you hang your hat on? Oh, we have Chase Young. Maybe you just sit out Chase Young for the rest of this season because this season seems to be over with, right? And then you say, oh, well, we have a great defensive front four. Who cares? Oh, they're all first rounders, though. Who cares? What has this team accomplished? What has this defense accomplished? Nothing. Then you hit me with the, oh, well, we keep building through the draft. Okay. Cam Curl, great player. Good player. Is he a great player? No. But then, you're going to pay some of these guys. Oh, Cole Holcomb is playing great. Oh, contract year. Are you going to pay Cole Holcomb? So there's a lot that's wrong with this team. And I think that something has to change. If nothing changes, literally. It's either you get Ron Rivera out of here, or if Ron Rivera wants to save face, get Del Rio out of here, get Scott Turner out of here, because he brought him there. Get rid of these guys and see, because when they fired the offensive line coach before the season, I was saying to myself, you're firing the wrong guy. Or no, sorry, was it they fired the defensive line coach. And I'm like, nothing has literally changed with this defensive line. Let me see what Viscount is saying. Viscount says, been a fan for 40 years and will be tomorrow the day after. Of course, it sucks right now, but I'll be behind them Thursday. I applaud you for that. I'm going to rock with the team until the blood turns cold, but guess what? That don't mean I got to support every decision. There might be times when I'm not watching the game. For me on Sundays, I enjoy watching Red Zone. I enjoy creating I enjoy creating fantasy football content. And it brings me joy. People say, man, why do you watch Red Zone and you don't watch the games? Because at least I'm happy. It's like, there are times when you draft your fantasy team, right? And let's say that your team is, trash or whatever, or your team is losing. At least you drafted your guys, right? How many of you guys have your guys on the Commanders right now? There are players that we're forced to cheer for just because, okay, they're on the Commanders. Oh, and then when you criticize them, you're a bad person, or you're a bad fan, or this or that. No, I said 20 minutes. I'm gonna give y'all three or 4 more minutes because I got a little bit more to say. So, it's like Ron Rivera, like I said, it's a great human being, great man, man of integrity. I love Ron Rivera as a person, but as a coach, he's just not with the times. The way that he's coaching, he reminds me of Joe Gibbs when Joe Gibbs came back to coach the Redskins. You can kind of tell that, hey, the days of the Joe Gibbs era was over with. Like, he was trying to run the ball. He was doing things like he did back then. And now things have changed. Cornelius, man, what's good? Cornelius says, I'm not invested as I used to be, but I'm still riding with the team. I'm still riding with the team. I'm not going anywhere. Y'all just going to just see less and less content. It's like when the team is winning, it's easier to produce content, right? Or the team loses, you can come in, you can rant, and people want to vent in therapy sessions and all that good stuff. Yeah, so you have that. But then now, literally, all I can focus the rest of the season on is stats. And when I do that, people say, well, it doesn't matter. Why are you, talking about the stats? Like, the team is bad. What are we going to talk about? About how trash the team is? So I can come and talk about, okay, Naomi Brown, 100-yard game, 3 receptions, 2 touchdowns. We can talk about that. We can talk about Montez Sweat, 2 sacks. We can talk about that. We can talk about Carson Wentz, 50-plus yards passing, right? We can talk about Carson Wentz has 10 touchdowns so far this season. Then it just becomes a numbers game. Yeah, I love numbers. We can talk stats all day, but in terms of where this team is going, they're not going anywhere. I don't see a scenario where this team turns this thing around. Like, I'm tired of let's run the tables from weeks 9 to 17. Oh, we can do it. We got to win every single game, but we can do it because if we win from weeks 9 through 17, we're gonna make the playoffs. 9-7, final seed, wild card. Oh, we still got a chance. There's 5 games left, and then you got the crowd where we're only 1-2. We're only 1-3. Oh, but it's still early in the season. We're only 1-4. After Friday, we're either going to be 2-4 or 1-5. And I'm telling you, after Thursday night, if we're 1-5, things are going to get ugly in DC. You can see a possible quarterback change. And if you're trying to turn the season around, right? And let's say, okay, Carson Wentz after 6 games, he's doing all he can. But with that line, maybe you put in a Taylor Heineke, right? To try to win some games, right? But at some point, you got to see, what do you have in Sam Howell? And right now, I don't want to put Sam Howell behind this terrible line. That's going to destroy any confidence whatsoever that Sam Howell has right now. So the way I'm looking at it is, give Carson to about week 8, week 9, then you just go straight to Howell. There's no need for that. Heineke, we know who Heineke is. And it just sucks that guys like Terry and guys like Jonathan Allen, some of the leaders of the team, it's like, what more can they do? Like, they can't speak out too much on the coach because they are respectable guys. But we know what's going on. But guys, this is my time, man. This is the Back Row Commander Show. I would love to talk more, but just wanted to get this 20-minute episode out. Still rocking with the team, not going anywhere. Just know that y'all gonna see less of me producing content, and I'll come on every now and then. I might give y'all an episode a week. It used to be like 2 or 3 episodes a week when it comes to the Commanders, but now it'll be more fantasy football. Still here, y'all still gonna get the tweets. If you follow me on Twitter, you still gonna get the tweets. You're still gonna get my thoughts and everything like that. But catch you guys later. Appreciate all the love that you guys give me on the YouTube channel, and I'm gonna catch you guys on that next episode. I'm out. Peace.